Yeah. See now, where I'm at here on this document is on April 17th, 2008. I got up and went to work like I did for almost 38 years, and I almost lost my life. Now, what these people did is, after I was life flighted over from Weiser, Idaho to Boise, Idaho, which if you're driving, it's about 170 something miles of a round trip. But when they released me from the hospital after I was life flighted, I was requested to come back to see this person, Dr. Gross, the next day. So, and the amount of medication I was on, I shouldn't have even been driving in the first place. But I went ahead and went and seen this gentleman the next day. And I had another trip, but at this appointment that I had with Dr. Gross on May 2nd of 2008, I requested him to send a referral to a doctor that was closer, which was Dr. Hansen. So for the next 3 weeks, I was fighting with the state insurance fund and trying to get an attorney at the same time to transfer a referral to a doctor that was closer than I was. And during that period, what happened is I fell asleep in my apartment, and my landlord came over and pounded on my screen door because luckily he was living next door, and I'd fallen asleep and my house had filled up with smoke because I fell asleep while I was cooking. So what my physical therapist did is he wrote a letter to the state insurance fund, and I also requested from the state insurance fund if I can have somebody come and help me, at least cook, like 1 or 2 days out of the week, and cook me enough, so it would last me. It wasn't much to ask, I wasn't asking for much. So what they did is they told me, well, since Dr. Gross is still your doctor until you get sent over to Dr. Hansen, the doctor that they were to send this referral to, I had to go see Dr. Gross to see if they felt that I could get somebody to come and do this. Well, supposedly in a report of May 9th of 08, they had stated, no, you should be able to take care of it on your own. Well, I couldn't use my right hand, which is my dominant hand. I mean, I couldn't touch nothing with it because of the massive swelling and the pain that I was in. Just to breathe on it hurt. But what they did is I had an appointment with Dr. Hansen on May 30th. So I was fighting with Carol Garland from the Idaho State Insurance Fund, which was my first claims examiner, to get this referral sent over. Dr. Hansen's office contacted me and stating that they hadn't received the referral and they were going to have to cancel my appointment. So for the next 5 days, I started calling the state insurance fund about almost every single day to try to get the referral done so I can go and see Dr. Hansen on May 30th. So what they did is they sent Dr. Gross on the same day, May 29th, and if you look at the time-wise, up there in the top there, you can kind of see, how the time went. It took them pretty much the day to get it all done. But what they did is they had Dr. Gross sign off on this fraudulent job site evaluation that me nor my boss received, and put me back to work full time, 10 hours a day, 4 to 5 days a week. And they even lied to the Idaho Supreme Court, saying that that I was returned back to work only part-time, 2 or 3 days a week, a couple hours a day. But again, I presented this at the Idaho Supreme Court, but I still, I don't know. So what they did is they got all this all done, got it all done, got it approved, and then they sent Dr. Hansen, the referral, because of what they were hoping for is you know, it usually happens is one doctor won't go over what another doctor says. So what they did, without notifying me that this had been done, prior to me going and seeing Dr. Hansen on May 30th of 2008, I went to see Dr. Hansen on May 30th to start my new appointment with him, because he was within walking distance. A big difference. So what I did is, and this is all before Lynn, Idaho legislator, who took my case, who contacted me after putting on the webpage of the fraud that was committed by the state insurance fund and the abuse of the authority by Mr. Donahue, and obviously the commission as a whole, because they're saying that they did their own findings of facts and conclusions of law, but allowed all this stuff to still stand before, that's posted with my documents to show that those were lies. That's where I'm kind of thinking that maybe there was already a hearing that was taking place that I wasn't aware of. So I go ahead and see Dr. Hansen the very next day, and he sets my appointment for 2 weeks down the road, because I was having my bandaged every single day because of the oozing that was coming out of the 2 open wounds that they had to leave open because of the massive swelling of my arm. But you see, this is where it all comes into. See, Carol Garland, she didn't know really the magnitude of the injury. You see, because she didn't see me. That's where her fault was. So I go see Dr. Hansen on the 30th, set up the appointment for 2 weeks, and then what they did is I get a certified letter in the mail about June 5th or so that I had been returned back to work. I ain't been contacted by nobody. And here we got Sandy Basket, who worked for the Idaho State Industrial Commission Rehabilitation Department. They're in Payette, Idaho at the unemployment office, which is supposed to be there to help me get back into the workforce properly. She didn't even contact me prior to all this happening. Matter of fact, I didn't even see a doctor before I even went back to work, or forced to go back to work. And they're saying that I quit my job. So what I do is I contacted the Idaho State Insurance Fund. I'm going, what the hell's going on here? Well, Dr. Gross, he was your treating physician, so you have to abide by what he said, because he was your treating physician before Dr. Hansen was. But what they're making everyone try to believe is that because Dr. Gross sent me back to work, I decided to go see another doctor the next day. But that's not how it went. No. The real fact is, and it's a fact, verifiable. So what they did is they were hoping, because, well, you have to go back to work because Dr. Gross signed off on it and he was your doctor at the time. So if you don't go back to work, then you're whatever. So I had no choice. Oh, they would deny me my benefits, all this kind of stuff if I didn't go back to work, part-time, all this shit. So what I did is I went ahead and went into work the next day because I got the certified letter in the mail. And I told my boss what the hell's going on, and he said that he got contacted by Sandy Basket saying that I've been released back to work. I said, really? Well, nobody told me, and I ain't seen no doctor. So I went ahead and went into work the next day, even though I had 2 doctor's appointments. I had one with the physical therapist that was wrapping my arm, that was changing the bandage on it every single day, and plus counseling based upon the nightmares that I was having. And you don't think my nightmares even got worse after I had to go back to work next to that machine that almost took my life? Oh yeah. So and so what they did is, I'm here. I had to work 10 hours that day with my left arm, and by the time that day was done, going to the doctors, trying to stand in this area where I was, working and all this kind of stuff, my arm hurt. So I called in the next day and said, hey man, my arm is killing me, man. I can't make it. And being next to that machine just ain't going to do it, man. And so I didn't go into work. The next thing I know, I was being accused of quitting my job. I said, no. Because my appointment for Dr. Hansen, they said, I said, I can't go back to work. And I'll just wait and see what Dr. Hansen says. And meanwhile, I'm not getting paid for that time that I'm off work. I'm not getting paid for the time off work because I couldn't work. Okay? There's no way. I'm on all this medication, and they put my life in danger again, man. Truly. Because of where they put me to work at. And I'll be bringing that up here pretty soon, too. But the way the videos will go, you'll see it before you see all this. And, if you're going down the other way. So what I did is, because they stated that, if Dr. Hansen takes you back off work, then we would consider the time off and pay you for it. Now, this was on May 30th when I got put, May 29th when I got put back to work. And then I went in the next day, one day, and then I said, no way, man. So I had to wait for the 2 weeks before I went and see Dr. Hansen. I go and see Dr. Hansen for my second visit now. And when Dr. Hansen found out what happened, because again, they were hoping that one doctor wouldn't go over what another doctor said. But when Dr. Hansen heard what happened, boy, he took me right back. He fucking released me right back off work, because there was no way I should have even been sent back to work. But, as I wrote in my filings to them and to Mr. Donahue, not knowing at the time that he wasn't really for me, I told him, how many innocent people have they done this to and actually got away with it? If they almost got away with this with me, how many innocent people have they done this to and actually got away with it? Well, finding out, I'm sure there's been a lot. So where we're at is, so what I did when Dr. Hansen put me back off work, I started asking, hey man, what about that money? Well, they were, pissing me off, So what I did is I filed a complaint. Which, again, this is where we're at right now. What did go before the Idaho Supreme Court? And Mr. Lynn, when I hired you in regards to this complaint that I had filed with the Idaho State Insurance to the Idaho State Industrial Commission against the Idaho State Insurance Fund, that video is coming up next. Lynn and the Idaho State Insurance Fund. I'm not a quitter, guys. This is my life. I won't have a life until you motherfuckers are out of my life. That's how it's going to be. Until you guys step up and do the right thing. I don't know what to say, man. But I'm not a quitter. Because again, what good am I right now to my family? and my lady's concerned. So, until next time.